Hey guys, you know how I usually do things on my channel. I don't usually do off the cuff article reads, but I thought this was interesting from Vice News, and we all know that their reputation precedes them. They have a horrible reputation for being extremely biased in their reporting and reporting misinformation, but I think there's something in here that I want to highlight, how they construct this article, what they say, and the topic that they actually deal with. Last night, I just so happened to read another article about Milo Yiannopoulos here being deplatformed by Patreon after being on it for only about 24 hours. And now we're seeing today another purge. And that's what the name of this article is. Crowdfunding site Patreon is purging far-right figures. Now, keep that in mind because they're basically segregating people into left and right. They're playing into this left versus right paradigm, and that's kind of a given in the world that we live in today. But it's always good to get back to the basics. They're always trying to, mainstream news, which I view Vice News as mainstream news. They're going mainstream. Mainstream media, also known as legacy media, and the government want to distract, deceive, and divide us. Because if we do get together, if we do decide to put down our differences and unite on some core principles of just basic humanity, we can overthrow these people. We far outnumber the IRS. We far outnumber the DEA, the FBI, all the alphabet soup agencies, any government agency. We far outnumber these people, and they know that. If we get together and we unite against any shade of tyranny, we can make incredible advances toward freedom. That's why they want to keep us divided. Crowdfunding site Patreon this week banned the accounts of several controversial public figures, part of a wider push by tech companies to deplatform users linked to the alt-right and far-right. There are your buzzwords right there. They're your division words. I can see somebody on the left going, alt-right, far-right. Oh yeah, they're neo-Nazis. They're white supremacists. We need to get rid of them. We need to silence them. What people don't understand about this deplatforming and this censorship is that mainstream media is trying to normalize this crap. And when you start normalizing and you start getting the right to push the left and the left to push the right, or any shade of pushing of verbal tyranny, I call it, which is called censorship, be ready for that double-edged axe to swing your way one day. The accounts of British conspiracy theorist YouTuber Carl Benjamin, what a great intro, huh? Better known as Sargon of Akkad, and U.S. far-right political commentator James Alsop were removed Thursday. I don't know if you know anything about Sargon of Akkad, but his stuff from a terrorist or hate speech perspective is pretty milquetoast. And every YouTuber, every content creator needs to be looking at this and putting themselves in the shoes of Carl Benjamin, James Alsop, and Milo Yiannopoulos. Because what's happening to them today will happen to you tomorrow. Not might happen. It will happen. It's just a matter of when. The ban will be a particular blow for Benjamin, who is earning more than $12,000 a month from the crowdfunding site. Now, $12,000 a month is a lot of money. I don't care if the guy's making $120,000 a month. It doesn't matter. What is this? This is the free market. This is his audience saying, hey, Carl, I love your stuff and I'm going to support you. That's the free market. Voluntary transactions, consensual exchanges, unlike mainstream media and unlike the government who want to use force to accomplish all their tasks. This is the free market, guys. I applaud Carl Benjamin for appealing to such a market. Benjamin did not immediately respond to a request for comment. The fresh bans came a day after far-right activist Milo Yiannopoulos saw his account killed, just 24 hours after he set it up to fund a, quote, magnificent 2019 comeback tour. The former Breitbart editor was cut off because of his association with the far-right group Proud Boys, and I think that's Gavin McGinnis, if I'm not mistaken, Patreon said. And here's Milo talking. I've had a miserable year or two, banned and deplatformed and censored and blacklisted. Now I need your help. I want to get back on my feet and come roaring back in 2019. I am one of the most censored and lied about people in the world. Even my fans sometimes believe things about me that aren't true because journalists lie more about me than perhaps anyone else in America. The crowdfunding site said Yiannopoulos was, quote, removed from Patreon as we don't allow association with or supporting hate groups. Now, it's kind of funny because when people get banned or deplatformed or get a community guideline strike issued to them, it's always you violated our TOS, our terms of service, and they're never specific. They don't have to be. They can use this broad brush, oh, you propagated hate speech, or you're supporting a hate group, or you're part of this organization that is a hate group. I don't care if it was 4 years ago, 14 years ago, 4 days ago. If you're at one time a part of what they perceive to be a hate group, you will be deplatformed. You will be censored. And again, put yourself in the shoes of Sargon of Akkad. Put yourself in the shoes of James Alsop. Put yourself in the shoes of Milo Yiannopoulos. It will happen to you. It will happen to me one day if we don't rise up. If we don't unite against this, that's what freedom's all about. Freedom is dangerous. Patreon is the latest technology company to cut off payment options for users linked to hate groups or hate speech. Now, check out what Vice did there. Check out what they didn't do. They didn't use the word alleged. They said Patreon is the latest technology company to cut off payment options for users linked to hate groups or hate speech, not allegedly linked to hate groups or hate speech. Vice News is the judge, jury, and executioner here, and they are declaring or giving the amen to Patreon's move to deplatform Benjamin and Alsop and Milo Yiannopoulos. Actually saying that these people are parts of hate groups and are participating in hate speech. PayPal and Stripe have previously taken similar actions. The company had previously shut down the account of BitChute, a video sharing platform that has attracted users who have been kicked off YouTube. Like that's all BitChute is about. That's all BitChute is for. They're just there to be that platform that takes in those who were kicked off by YouTube. As if somebody didn't just go, you know what, I'll just use BitChute as a platform. Are people who were kicked off of YouTube using BitChute? Yes, but that's not what BitChute is about. They're going to say something similar to that about Gab here in a second. Here's what Patreon says. Hi there, thanks for the tweet. Now I don't have the tweet that they're responding to here, but it looks like it says responding to War and Peace and Patreon support. So War and Peace must have requested that Patreon look into Carl Benjamin or Sargon of Akkad's account, and it looks like they did something about it. Hi there, thanks for the tweet. Milo Yiannopoulos, oh, this is about Milo. Hi there, thanks for the tweet. Milo Yiannopoulos was removed from Patreon as we don't allow association with or supporting hate groups on Patreon. For more information, please see our community guidelines. And as we all know, these community guideline strikes and this "you violated our terms of service" mantras are just bogus because they're selectively enforced. Patreon did not immediately respond to a request for comment on the closure of the accounts belonging to Alsop or Benjamin. Gab, a free speech social network favored by the right-wing community, has also been cut off by payment processors. Many of its users reacted angrily to the latest deplatforming, criticizing the company, but also President Donald Trump's for failing to protect free speech rights of conservative voices. Quote, Trump has done nothing to protect his base at this point, Dave Cullen, a conservative commentator, posted. Now, Dave Cullen is, I believe, Computing Forever. He didn't lift a finger to defend Alex Jones, his biggest supporter. Free speech dies with a whimper, and people just shrug. And guess what? Dave Cullen is right. Guys, I'm going to state this as a fact. I don't even know if there's a direct correlation, but under Obama, under the Obama presidency, and you guys know what I feel about Obama, under the Obama presidency, I never received one community guideline strike, and I had just as hard-hitting of content then as I do now. When Trump became president a couple months afterward, I got my first strike, my second strike, my channel was dangling by a thread, those strikes fell off. I got my third and fourth strike, those fell off. I got another strike and just recently another for my a total of my sixth strike, and my channel 3 times has been hanging over the precipice of termination. And as you guys know, my main channel with 516,000 subscribers was terminated with no strikes. Censorship has ramped up, and censorship is not going to stop ramping up. It's going to be like that snowball on the top of the hill. When it reaches the bottom, it's going to be just a giant rolling blob that you're not going to be able to do anything about as it steamrolls over you. And it kind of makes you scratch your head because Patreon, check this out. Patreon makes money on its content creators. How much do they make? The Patreon fee, it says right here, is 5% of successfully processed payments. That means if Carl Benjamin was raking in $12,000 a month, that was a $600 a month boost to Patreon's bottom line. Why would Patreon get rid of a Carl Benjamin? I don't know what James Alsop was making, but let's say it's $5,000 a month. Patreon tells TechCrunch that in a year, it's doubled the number of monthly active paying patrons to 1 million. And the number of active creators to 50,000. Carl Benjamin represented a lot of patrons. $12,000 is a lot of money. And so why would Patreon be willing to abandon $600 a month? And you could say, well, that's not a lot of money. That's a lot of money if you get rid of 1,000 content creators, even 100 content creators. How does it benefit a business to shoot itself in the foot? And like I said, if you've seen Sargon of Akkad's stuff, you know that there's nothing in there that warrants being deplatformed. Nothing in there that warrants being censored. We know that the ratings of mainstream fake stream media has been jeopardized by people on YouTube who are calling them out for their nonsense. Could it be that legacy media is behind this culling of the herd? Is Patreon being paid off? YouTubers put their life and their energy into creating content. Tens of thousands, if not millions of people enjoy that content, and then Patreon comes around and deplatforms or censors them? It doesn't make business sense. Guys, the bottom line is, if we don't stand together, we will surely fall. And censorship and deplatforming is definitely something we can stand against. If for no other reason than put yourself in Carl Benjamin and James Alsop and Milo Yiannopoulos' shoes. Contact Patreon and let them know that you're not supportive of this move. Leave your thoughts about this for the world and the Google Thought Police in the comments section below. And I'll see you guys in the next video.